Are you ready, Michelle? Stand up for a second. Okay, I want to tell you, this girl's organized. Okay, give her a round of applause for her organization. So I was just going through and I was looking who I had speaking, and I saw a ticket come through, Mishel Stoneley, and I was like, I think I know that name. And we had met her. I'd seen you talk. You were in Vegas, and then I looked her up on Facebook, and she was a corporate director, and you have to actually do something pretty good to get to the corporate director level. And so I just reached out because she's bought a ticket, said she was probably had some people she was probably bringing, and so I actually had bios. Everybody sent me bios. And I didn't memorize yours, I'm sorry, I don't have the slide for it, so you're gonna have to tell everybody who you are. But I'm really excited to have Mishel because it's a completely different perspective. We got somebody else that's just really out there hammering it, and she's really stepped up as a leader in the company, okay? So just so you know, it's okay to be a leader, okay? It's okay, you don't have to always, wait on somebody. It's good to learn from, but eventually, if you want to build a business, if you want to make an impact, you have to make the decision that you're going to be the leader. And so I'm really excited that she's able to make it up here, all the way from Baltimore, Maryland, and we're excited to have her. So please give her a warm round of applause for Mishel Stoneley.
All right, so let's see if this works. All right, so I am from Baltimore, and I have lived there about 12 years.
This is probably on.
I'm originally from the Mountain West, grew up in the mountains, all that good stuff. But I came to Baltimore so that my husband could do a master's degree, and then I went back to nursing school.
Yay!
There we go. I'm currently an oncology nurse at Johns Hopkins. I'm a thoracic radiation oncology nurse. It's a mouthful, right? All that means is that I help patients that have cancer in the lungs, the esophagus, and anywhere in this region. And it's a demanding job. I love it. Not so much last year, but I'll get to that later. But the irony is that about 4 years ago, I was diagnosed with cancer, and I became a patient at Johns Hopkins. And it was truly maybe not the most life-changing event in my life, but it was big. And in a lot of really good reasons, a lot of really good ways. I don't regret one bit. I never really was like, why me? Somebody's got to get cancer, right? Cancer doesn't discriminate. Up to the point of me having cancer, I was a pretty healthy person. I don't know if you can see some of these, but my family, we are avid backpackers and hikers. My husband and I, for a period of time, he wasn't a big runner, but he did a lot of relay races with me. I really liked the half marathon length, and so I did a lot of those races. Loved to swim and just really active. I have never had a cup of coffee. I've never had alcohol. I haven't smoked. I haven't used drugs. And before I was diagnosed with cancer, I had no pre-existing conditions. I didn't take any prescription drugs, and really, supplements were for sissies. I really felt like, 41 years old, diagnosis of cancer was a little bit like, okay, here we go. It was caught early. I was lucky, and I was able to avoid chemotherapy intravenously. I did have to take a chemotherapy pill, which really wrecked my body. And then I had 3 surgeries in the space of 18 months. And those surgeries were pretty major. You're not allowed to lift anything heavier than a gallon of milk for 2 months after each surgery, so a lot of deconditioning going on. And a lot of depression, a lot of issues that come with that, mental health issues. So, had this diagnosis. 3 years later, I'm here, which is amazing. I thank God for that every day. Every day is a blessing. And every day is an opportunity to share, and every day is an opportunity to give kindness and love to those around you. And I feel like as a nurse, I am 10,000 times the nurse that I was before. I know what it's like to get that diagnosis, to have to pick treatments, so I'm a much better nurse, and a better parent, a better friend, and I would never have found APLGO without it. So I first found APLGO on Facebook. My then acquaintance, Tina D'Angelo, who is now a good friend, shared an upline with me in a previous company. Let's be real here, the previous company, Tina did really terrific. She was amazing, top earner. I joined this company the summer I was diagnosed. What was I thinking, people? Because life's not busy, I wasn't in the middle of all these other things. My son was going off to serve an LDS mission for 2 years. My husband changed jobs, all in the space of these 3 months of my diagnosis. And I thought, hey, let's add something else to it. So I joined a network marketing company and didn't do a whole lot with it, but I earned enough money to pay for my product, and I started crossing paths with Tina. So our Facebook feeds lined up a couple times, and I started seeing, in October of 2020, these little candies. And she was touting health and wellness, and I thought, well, I don't really have either of those right now. And I had gotten to a point, I will tell you that my sister who's here, she and I had planned a cruise. In anticipation of that, I was exercising, I was eating, I had started running again, I had lost weight. I was just like, oh, this is so great. And then who shows up? COVID. COVID is a big fat bully, just like cancer. They're cousins, I think. And they're awful, they change lives, they ruin lives. And COVID, I'm gonna share a little secret with you later, don't let me forget, but COVID and nursing, we are not good bedfellows. So I started seeing these after 6 months of being in a global pandemic, and I was curious. And I reached out. I never commented on a single post. I didn't want people to know I was looking at these little candies. So I private messaged her every time. And we talked a little bit back and forth, but I actually had another non-cancer related surgery scheduled for November. And so we messaged back and forth. Tina's really good at follow-up. About every week or 10 days, she'd send me a little something, and then I had surgery. And I was out of it for about a month. I focused on my health and resting and healing, and I thought a lot about APLGO. So about a month before I finished my surgery, I came back to Tina with let's talk a little bit. Let's have this conversation. Didn't really know much about comp plans because, like I said, my first network marketing company was just all about me getting product. So Tina and I talked for a little bit. The week before I was supposed to go back to work, I became a small business owner again. I had been a small business owner in my 20s and 30s. I was a landscaper, very physically demanding job, and I loved it. And I decided, you know what, I can do this. And I need a plan B because pandemics make nursing really crummy plan A. So I signed up as a small business owner. And let me tell you why I needed a plan B. So that little secret about pandemics and nursing. Being a nurse in a pandemic is really hard. It's really hard. It means wage freezes, it means isolation, protocols, checklists, not being able to touch another human person for 10 to 12 hours a day with a face and a mask and a face shield. Like, you don't even see the pretty face shield that I get to wear every day. So yeah, I got these little caps and I took these pictures because really you're trying to make the best of any situation when you're stuck like this for 15 months. So wage freezes, Hopkins is a big hospital. A lot of hospitals across the country, when you lose your elective surgeries, you lose your money makers. So no raises for a whole year. And no overtime allowed, but you still have to be there and show up and do all of this and have no physical contact. Not even a pat on the shoulder to a coworker. It's really hard. So I was kind of done. This is just, I'll show you, this is a box of masks that a friend made for me and sent, hundreds of masks. There were so many amazing people during the pandemic, and I had all of these OR caps one of my patients made for me. Really, really good people stepping up, but really, really exhausting and hard. So when I signed up to be a small business owner, I thought, I have arrived. I found APLGO, it's gonna fix all my health and wellness issues, it's gonna fix my financial issues. I found the promised land, I've got my golden ticket. That lasted about like a week. And I started going to meetings. to our teen pop star meetings. And Garth and Aaron are fantastic. Let me tell you how good they are. After one of my teen pop star meetings, about 3 weeks into this, I joined around Thanksgiving. And before Christmas, my family's out watching Elf in the living room. I'm out doing a pop stars meeting. I'm so excited. I come running down the stairs and I say, you guys, I'm gonna retire from nursing in 5 years. They kind of look at me, they're like, cool, Mom. I'm like, great. I was like, 5 years. Took out my phone, I put it in right there, like retirement from nursing. I punched it into my calendar. It's since moved up 2 years. We're gonna do this in 3. But I was like, 5 years. This is what I'm gonna do. And I think my husband was like, cool, great. Like, I know you hate your job right now, but you know. But every single week that I got to spend time on those team meetings, I got to meet other people. And I got to meet people who had a purpose. Now, we have this idea of what a purpose is, right? A purpose is like what you're put on this earth to do. I think all of us have this idea what our purpose is. Maybe we don't, maybe we've had it at some point and lost it. So I started hearing these people talking about their purpose being, you know, that they were gonna help people with self-care. They were business coaches, they were health coaches, holistic and wellness. And a lot of people just really had their passion. And I don't know if they realized it at the time, maybe they did, but for me it was a big light bulb moment where APLGO is not their purpose. It is not their passion. But APLGO is the vehicle. APLGO is going to get you to the destination. And for the purpose of this, keeping it clear, I'm going to use purpose and destination interchangeably. So when you have a purpose and you know what you want to do and what God put you on this earth to do, but it doesn't make you any money, you need something that does. So it frees you up for that purpose. And that's what I came to realize, that I didn't have a clear picture in the middle of this pandemic of what my purpose was, but I knew whatever it was, this was going to get me there. And that changed everything for me. So, also to be clear, I know a lot of you probably drive electric cars. I drive a 1990 Toyota Land Cruiser. It's not an environmentally friendly car and I love it. But for the purpose of this discussion, I'm just going to use the word fuel, but you could also say power, plug-in, whatever. But I knew if I had this vehicle, I needed to put fuel in it. And I knew if I didn't put fuel in it, I was going to run out of momentum and I'd be stuck on the side of the highway, calling somebody to bail me out, frustrated, walking away. So one of those same experiences, coming down after a pop stars meeting, talking to my family, telling them how great everything was. I looked at the 3 of my family and it's this beautiful Christmas, this area that in our living room that's just lit up and beautiful, and I just, deep in the depths of my soul, I looked at these 3 people and I said, you know what? They're my fuel. They're my why. And it's not just them, it's not my 3 people. What about my 3 people, right? There's gotta be more than that. You can do it for other people, you can do it for, you know, this picture in your mind, but for me, my mom is a very talented artist, but she is tied to her job. She doesn't have the freedom of finance or time to be present here in Baltimore for my kids. And that's hard. So for me, when my sister and I and my other little sister, we've talked about, you know, being present, being able to be there. We have children. Each of my sisters and I, we each have 2 kids apiece and different ages, and we talk about this idea of the freedom of time, the freedom of availability. And I had this moment at one of our meetings, and I never shared it with anyone. But when I decided I was all in, I came in at Diamond. When I decided I was all in, and I came up with my why, my 3 people, I knew that a corporation was never going to tell me how long I had to get strong enough to go back to work. They were never going to tell me how much time I had to take vacation with my family. They were never going to tell me how long I had to grieve the loss of a loved one or celebrate the life of a new one. When my mother-in-law died, I got 2 days to fly home and bury her. That's what the hospital allowed. When I had cancer, I had 4 to 6 weeks to get better. 8 if I had complications. This is my why. And this is my fuel. When I feel like giving up, which I have, let's be real, who hasn't in this room? This is my why, and this is why I keep working. When my daughter has a baby, I will be there for as long as she needs me. If God forbid any of my family gets sick, I will be there for them as long as they need. Never again will a corporation, an employer tell me what I get to do with my time or my money or my energy. So you need to find your why if you don't have it, and it needs to be bulletproof. It needs to be something that when you feel like, you know what, I'm done, I feel betrayed or let down by XYZ, this is your why. Figure it out and hold tight to it. As to your purpose, that's also yours. And that's going to be different from every person in this room. Your purpose or your destination is going to change. I had a good friend I was talking to who was a top earner in doTERRA. He had a very clear destination, a purpose as to what drove he and his wife to do what they did to work so hard. And they reached that. But they didn't quit, they just plugged in a new GPS, they just picked a new destination. 12 years later, they have surpassed all of their destinations. They've wrapped around the globe about 150 times, and they've created a legacy of financial wealth for their children and their children's children. And their why is the same, but their destination has changed. So do you know your destination? Because if you don't, you're not going to get there. And do you know how to keep your tank full? Do you have a bulletproof why? Figure those two things out, because if you don't, you won't be here at the next regional event. And you won't be on stage at any event, because you will have lost momentum. You will be sitting on the side of the road, calling your sponsor saying, I don't know how to do this, I'm done. Whatever. If you're halfway there, you're sitting on the car lot, you're like, do I pick up the car keys? Do I do this? You know what, get out, kick the tires, play with the sound system, do whatever you have to do. But do not leave without rededicating yourself to hopping in this vehicle and getting yourself to your destination. Because I can promise you APLGO is the vehicle that will get you there. The destination is yours, the fuel is yours. But this is the company, I promise you, it is the company that will get you there. And you are with people who know that, and people who want to help succeed, and they want you to succeed. It's happened for me, I know it can happen for you, because I have that bulletproof why, and I'm plugged into my GPS. So buckle up, this is going to be a good ride, you guys.